The sky above Earth changed one quiet morning. It did not turn dark or bright, nor did it thunder or shake. It simply shimmered, like sunlight reflecting on water. People all over the world saw it. Some thought it was a trick of the atmosphere. Others believed it was the end of the world. But then from that shimmer, something began to take shape. It was not a ship made of metal or fire. It looked smooth, silver, and almost alive. It glowed gently, casting soft light over the oceans and mountains below. The world held its breath as satellites turned their cameras toward it. Governments tried to make contact, but before they could send their first signal, a voice echoed across every screen, every radio, and every phone. "You will take the challenge," the voice said. It was calm, steady, and strangely beautiful. It was not loud, yet everyone heard it. The sound carried meaning in every language at once. In India, people heard it in Hindi. In France, it spoke French. In Kenya, it spoke Swahili. The voice did not belong to any man or woman. It was alien, but not frightening. The message repeated 3 times, and then it ended with a single sentence. The galaxy must know what humanity can do. Then silence. The silver object remained in orbit, unmoving and silent. News agencies went wild. Social media filled with questions and jokes. Scientists rushed to analyze the broadcast. World leaders gathered in emergency meetings. Some people prayed, others celebrated. A few refused to believe it was real. But one thing was certain. No one could ignore it. For 3 days, the alien ship stayed in the same place. It did not attack or demand. It simply waited. On the 4th day, another message arrived. The challenge awaits. Send your answer. This time the message came with coordinates, a point far beyond the moon. No weapons, no threats, no conditions, only an invitation. At the United Nations, the Great Hall was filled like never before. Representatives from every country sat together. No one shouted, no one argued. For the first time in history, all eyes looked the same direction, upward. The Secretary General stood at the podium. Her voice trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of the moment. "We have been given something," she said. "Not a warning, not an order, a challenge. We must decide what kind of species we are. Do we hide or do we answer?" The decision took less than a day. Humanity would respond. In Houston, engineers worked around the clock. In Tokyo, scientists designed instruments to measure unknown energy fields. In Nairobi, mathematicians worked on alien signal patterns. In Rio, children painted pictures of the glowing ship. The entire planet seemed to come alive with one shared purpose, but no one yet knew what the challenge really meant. When the aliens finally spoke again, they gave details, simple ones. The challenge, they said, was a test of mind, heart, and harmony. No fighting, no weapons, only cooperation, creation, and understanding. It would take place in a constructed realm, a place where physics could bend and ideas could live. It sounded impossible. But then again, so did everything about the visitors. A single ship would be allowed to enter. It could carry only 12 humans. The crew could include anyone, scientists, artists, builders, dreamers, as long as they represented the spirit of humanity. People began to volunteer by the thousands. Astronauts applied, of course, but so did teachers, farmers, doctors, students, and even poets. A selection committee formed quickly, not under one flag, but under all of them. For the first time, Earth acted as one. In the end, 12 names were chosen. Dr. Amina Patel, an astrophysicist from India; Marcus Lee, a mechanical engineer from Canada; Rafael Ortega, a farmer from Chile; Yuki Tanaka, a linguist from Japan; Olivia Green, a schoolteacher from England; Malik Osi, a poet from Ghana; and others from every continent, every faith, every color. When the final crew list was announced, the world cheered, not because they were the best individuals, but because together they seemed to represent everyone. The alien ship sent one more message. Prepare. The gateway opens in 7 days. The next week became the most peaceful in human history. Nations set aside old conflicts. News programs stopped talking about war or politics. Every camera focused on the training base in Nevada, where the 12 chosen ones prepared to meet something no human had ever seen. Their ship was called Unity. Built in record time, it combined the best technology from every space program on Earth. Solar sails from Europe, propulsion from America, habitat modules from China, and a life support system designed by students in Nigeria. Reporters were allowed to interview the crew one final time before launch. A young journalist asked Olivia Green, the teacher, "Aren't you afraid?" Olivia smiled gently. "Of course I am. But I also feel proud. We're not going out there to fight or conquer. We're going to show what people can do when they choose to trust each other." Another asked the poet Malik Osei what he hoped to find. "Understanding," he said. "Maybe not of them, but of ourselves." Launch day came. Billions of people watched from screens. The Unity stood on the pad, gleaming under the morning sun. Flags from every nation fluttered together. There were no military uniforms, only white suits marked with the emblem of Earth, a blue circle with 12 lines converging at its center. When the countdown began, no one spoke. When the engines lit, the crowd gasped. The Unity lifted gracefully, leaving behind a column of white smoke and the sound of the whole world holding its breath. In orbit, the alien vessel turned slightly as if acknowledging the new arrival. A beam of soft blue light extended toward Unity. The pilot, Captain Patel, took a deep breath. "This is humanity," she said into the open channel. "We accept the challenge." The alien voice responded instantly, warm and melodic. "Then follow the light. Let your actions speak." Unity entered the beam. The light surrounded the ship, shimmering like liquid glass. On Earth, people watched as it vanished from view, leaving behind only a ripple in space. In the United Nations control room, silence filled the air. Then someone whispered, "They're gone." No one knew where. Up in the void, Unity drifted through a tunnel of color. The crew felt no motion, no weight. Time itself seemed to pause. Outside the window, stars bent and stretched like threads of silver. Dr. Patel checked the readings. "Nothing makes sense," she murmured, smiling despite herself. "We're not in any known region of space." Malik looked out the window, eyes wide. "Maybe that's the point," he said softly. "The challenge begins where our understanding ends." The ship slowed. Ahead, a vast structure appeared, and not a planet, not a station, but something between both. It shimmered with golden light and floating shapes that moved like clouds. Rivers of light flowed through open air. Cities hovered upside down. Forests grew in spirals. A voice came again inside their minds, calm and clear. "Welcome, children of Earth. This is the labyrinth of thought. Within it are 3 trials. Each will test what you value most. You may leave at any time, but to finish you must act as one." The crew exchanged silent looks. No one spoke. Captain Patel placed her hand on the control console. "We came to learn," she said. "We're ready." The ship glided forward into the golden light. Back on Earth, the silver alien ship in orbit shimmered once more, then went quiet again. Humanity watched the skies, waiting. Somewhere far beyond what telescopes could see, 12 humans entered a place no one had ever imagined. The challenge had begun, not to prove strength but to reveal something deeper. And though the world did not yet know it, this was the moment when humanity's story truly entered the stars. The moment Unity entered the golden light, the crew realized they had left everything they knew behind. Outside the windows, the universe looked alive. Colors danced like liquid. Stars bent in strange curves and floating islands drifted through open air. Gravity did not behave normally. Objects twisted and hovered as though following their own rules. The voice returned, calm and melodic, echoing in their minds rather than through speakers. "Welcome to the labyrinth of thought. Here your understanding will be tested. Each trial measures what you hold most valuable. You may observe, create, or cooperate. Failure is not punishment, it is insight." Captain Patel took a deep breath. "Everyone, stay focused. Observe first. Learn before we act." The crew nodded. They had trained for space, engineering, and survival, but never for this. No manual, no guide, could prepare them for a world where logic bent like light. The first trial appeared almost immediately. A bridge stretched across a chasm of flowing color. It was solid yet translucent. The voice instructed, "Cross the bridge without touching the walls. Let trust guide you." Marcus Lee, the engineer, studied the structure. "It seems to respond to thought," he said. "It moves if we hesitate or doubt." Olivia Green stepped forward first. "Then we must believe in each other," she said. The others nodded. One by one, they stepped onto the bridge, focusing on the path and not the chasm below. It trembled slightly but did not collapse. When the last crew member reached the other side, The chasm transformed into a garden of floating plants, glowing softly. A message appeared in the air. Trial 1 complete. Insight. Trust is stronger than fear. They paused, marveling. Not a single wall had moved. Not a single rope or tool had been needed. Only cooperation and confidence had carried them through. Malik Osei, the poet, whispered, "This is not about skill. It's about understanding each other." Dr. Patel nodded. "Then we are on the right path. Let's see what comes next." The second trial was more puzzling. A room appeared, spherical and transparent, filled with hundreds of floating objects, shapes, symbols, and strange devices that hummed with light. A gentle current of air moved them slowly. The voice instructed, "Arrange the objects into harmony. Balance thought, creativity, and purpose." Yuki Tanaka, the linguist, studied the symbols. Some resembled languages she had never seen. Some were musical notes. Others were geometric patterns. Rafael Ortega, the farmer, noticed patterns in the way the light reflected off certain surfaces. Olivia and Marcus began moving objects carefully, testing connections, while Malik murmured ideas aloud in verse. Hours passed. At least it felt like hours. Time itself seemed to stretch and bend. The crew worked together, sometimes speaking, sometimes silently understanding each other. Every failure prompted new attempts, every wrong connection revealed a new possibility. Finally, the objects aligned. They floated into a perfect spiral, radiating a soft glow that seemed to pulse with the crew's heartbeat. The voice returned. Trial 2 complete. Insight. Harmony requires patience and respect for difference. The crew exhaled together, realizing that no one could have done this alone. Each skill, each perspective had been necessary. The third trial was the most mysterious. They entered a vast open space where nothing seemed fixed. Islands floated freely. Rivers of light flowed in loops. Trees grew upside down. The voice spoke. "The final trial tests unity of thought and emotion. You must act as one to advance." Dr. Patel looked at her crew. "We can't do this physically," she said. "We have to trust our minds and hearts." Malik Osei suggested a simple exercise. "Let's tell each other what we feel, what we hope for, and what we fear. Let's share openly." One by one, each crew member spoke. Olivia shared her hope that humanity could find peace among the stars. Marcus admitted he feared failure. Raphael spoke of his small farm back on Earth, and how the beauty of nature had inspired him to join this mission. Yuki expressed her wonder at languages and symbols, and Dr. Patel shared her dream of discovery. As they spoke, the labyrinth responded. Islands shifted to form paths. Colors flowed more gently. Shapes aligned into patterns that mirrored their shared emotions. For the first time, the crew felt a profound connection, not just with each other, but with the trial itself. "You are learning what cannot be taught," the voice said. "Understanding is the true measure of unity." Suddenly, the labyrinth dissolved. They were no longer in a tunnel of light, but floating in space, surrounded by stars and a calm, gentle light that seemed to welcome them. The voice spoke one final time. Trial 3 complete. Insight. Unity is not sameness, but harmony and diversity. You have passed where others have faltered. Your hearts and minds are worthy of this journey. The crew sat in silence for a moment. They had faced the impossible, a world that defied logic, physics, and expectation, and had succeeded, not through force, but through empathy, cooperation, and understanding. Marcus laughed softly. "We didn't just survive," he said. "We learned, and in the process we became something more." Malik smiled. "We became human in the truest sense. Not the strongest, not the smartest, but the most connected." Olivia looked at the stars, feeling tears well in her eyes. "If the galaxy sees this, maybe they'll understand us." The alien voice returned, softer now, almost like a whisper in the wind. "Humanity is rare. You have not only faced the trials, you have transcended them. Prepare for judgment, and know that your story will echo farther than you can imagine." The crew exchanged looks, excitement and wonder mixed with humility. They had not fought monsters or enemies. They had faced challenges that tested their spirit, their mind, and their hearts, and they had passed. Dr. Patel finally spoke. "Let's document everything, every feeling, every choice, every insight. This is history, and it belongs to all of humanity, not just us 12. As they recorded their experiences, the labyrinth shimmered again, revealing a single gateway, a portal of golden light that seemed to pulse with promise. "Step forward," the voice said. and prepare for what comes next. The galaxy awaits your presence." Malik Osi looked out at the gateway, a smile spreading across his face. "Do you think we're ready?" he asked softly. Olivia Green replied, "We'll never feel completely ready, but we are as ready as we can be, together." Dr. Patel nodded. "Then let's go. Not as individuals, but as humanity." One by one, the 12 humans stepped into the Golden Gateway. The light surrounded them, gentle and warm, and for a moment, they felt not like travelers or test subjects, but like pioneers of something greater than themselves. Behind them, the labyrinth faded into nothingness, leaving only stars. Ahead, the universe opened wider than they could imagine. On Earth, billions waited. Every eye turned to the skies, every heart held hope. The world did not know what awaited the crew, but they knew one thing. Humanity had faced the impossible and succeeded. Somewhere, in the far reaches of the galaxy, the aliens observed silently. They had expected failure. They had expected hesitation, confusion, maybe fear. Instead, they had seen something extraordinary. Humans, unpredictable and creative, solving impossible puzzles not through force or intellect alone, but through connection. And the aliens knew this was only the beginning. The Golden Gateway closed behind the crew of Unity, leaving them floating in a quiet, starlit expanse. The vastness of space stretched in every direction, but they felt no fear. Instead, a sense of calm settled over them, as if the universe itself was waiting for something important to happen. Before them, a massive structure appeared, immense, elegant, and luminous. It was unlike any building or spaceship they had ever seen. Its surfaces shimmered with patterns that seemed alive, flowing like liquid metal. Towers rose and fell like breathing creatures, and bridges of light connected floating platforms that hovered in the void. A soft voice spoke in their minds. It was different from the challenge trials, deeper, warmer, and more deliberate. "You have completed what no other species has before. Now you will receive judgment, not for failure or success alone, but for the spirit you have shown." Dr. Amina Patel, the captain, exchanged a glance with the others. "Judgment? I thought the trials themselves were the point." Marcus Lee, the engineer, shrugged. "Maybe the trials were just the beginning. Maybe this is the real test." The crew moved closer to the structure. As they did, a platform formed beneath their feet. It carried them forward, guiding them into a vast hall that stretched farther than any eye could see. The walls glowed with shifting colors, and the floor was transparent, showing countless stars below. At the center of the hall, a council waited. They were unlike anything the humans had imagined. Some appeared as light itself, flowing in shapes that shifted with thought. Others resembled beings, but their forms were translucent, almost like water in motion. Each radiated calm authority. One of them stepped forward, taller and brighter than the rest. Its presence made the humans feel both small and significant at the same time. "We observed you," it said. "We watched as you faced the labyrinth of thought, the challenges of unity and the puzzles of understanding. You were unpredictable. You did not follow any pattern we expected." Malik Osei, the poet, whispered. "Unpredictable. That sounds human," the alien voice continued. "Other species relied on strength, precision, or calculation. You relied on empathy, cooperation, and creativity. You did not conquer the trials. You transcended them. You understood the lessons without needing instruction." Olivia Green, the teacher, felt her heart lift. "So we succeeded?" she asked. "In your own way," the alien replied. "You have not merely passed the challenge. You have redefined it. No species has shown the combination of individuality and unity that you possess." Rafael Ortega, the farmer, smiled. "So we did more than survive." "Fui so inspired?" "Yes," the alien said. "And because of that, a choice is offered to you. You may return to your planet and share your experiences, or you may join us in shaping the next challenge, guiding the trials that will test future civilizations. In doing so, you will become teachers, not students." The crew exchanged glances. The weight of the offer was immense. To return home meant safety, closure, and recognition. To stay meant a role that would shape the future of the galaxy, but it would take courage, patience, and vision. Dr. Patel spoke first. "We cannot accept this lightly. To guide other civilizations, that is a responsibility far beyond anything humanity has ever faced." Marcus nodded. "But maybe it is exactly what humanity needs. Not to conquer or dominate, but to learn and to teach." Malik Osei added, And to show that understanding and cooperation can be more powerful than any weapon or technology, the council remained silent, waiting. Then the alien spoke again. You understand the weight of this choice, yet we sense your readiness. You have already demonstrated what humanity can do when faced with the unknown. The decision is yours. Olivia Green looked at her crew. What do you think? She asked softly. Yuki Tanaka, the linguist, smiled. We came to learn, and we learned more than we could have imagined. Perhaps it is time to give back. Rafael Ortega nodded. Our world will never be the same after this journey, but maybe it is time humanity can influence more than just Earth. Dr. Patel took a deep breath. Then we accept. We will guide, teach, and share. Not for power, but for understanding, for hope, for unity. The aliens observed silently for a moment. Then the tallest one stepped forward, light radiating like a calm sun. So be it. Humanity will now join the circle of teachers. Your example will guide species across the galaxy. Not through force, but through inspiration. You have chosen wisely. And in doing so, you have become a symbol of what the galaxy can achieve when individuality and unity meet. The hall shimmered, and the humans felt their minds expand with understanding. For a brief moment, they glimpsed countless worlds, civilizations at different stages of growth, beings solving problems and learning lessons in ways that were both strange and beautiful. They saw possibilities, challenges, and hopes, and understood that humanity's role was just beginning. Malik Osei whispered, We are not the end of the story. We are part of the story itself. The aliens guided the humans back to the Golden Gateway. Return to your world, the voice said. Share your experience. Teach your people that fear is not the measure of humanity, but courage and understanding are. And remember, the galaxy watches not for conquest, but for growth. Unity re-entered familiar space. The stars looked ordinary again, but everything had changed. The humans felt connected, not just to each other, but to the universe itself. Earth appeared below. The crew prepared to transmit a message not of alien knowledge or technology, but of hope and possibility. Every nation, every city, every home could feel the change. Humanity had faced something impossible, and in doing so it had grown. On television, in schools, in homes, and public squares, the message was shared. We are not alone, and more importantly, we are capable of more than we ever imagined. The world cheered, not for weapons, not for war, not for dominance, but for possibility. Children looked up at the sky with wonder. Scientists dreamed of new inventions. Teachers and poets spoke of connection. Humanity had passed the test, and it had passed with grace. Dr. Patel gathered her crew in the observation deck. They were quiet, exhausted, yet elated. I don't think anyone can truly understand what we've seen, she said. Marcus smiled. They don't need to. They just need to believe what we've shown, that cooperation, empathy, and creativity can overcome anything. Olivia Green added, and that humanity is ready for the stars, not to take but to share. Rafael Ortega looked at the oceans below. We've returned changed, and maybe the world will be too. The golden light of the gateway faded as Unity settled back into orbit, but the memory of the labyrinth, the trials, and the council lingered in every mind on board. It was a memory that would guide them forever. The alien ship in orbit shimmered faintly, then turned its light toward the stars. The galaxy waited, watching the humans who had redefined a challenge no one thought they could meet. And somewhere in the distance, other civilizations whispered to each other, humans. They are unlike any species we have ever seen. Perhaps they are ready for what comes next. On Earth, people continued their lives, but everything felt subtly different. Borders mattered less. Competition existed, but curiosity mattered more. People reached out, shared knowledge, and celebrated creativity. The idea of fear was replaced with possibility. For the first time, humanity understood something the galaxy already knew. They had potential, not just to survive, but to inspire, to teach, and to shape the future. And though the trials had ended, the journey had only begun. Dr. Patel looked out at the stars, her hand resting on the ship's console. The challenge is over, she said softly, but the real work, the real journey, is just starting. Malik Osei leaned back, smiling. And the story will never end. It's ours to write together. As Earth rotated beneath them, bathed in sunlight, the crew of Unity understood the truth. The galaxy had not tested humanity to see if it could survive. It had tested humanity to see if it could rise, and humanity had risen. And from that moment forward, the stars were no longer distant or dangerous. They were an invitation. The alien voice spoke one final time, gentle and proud. You will take the challenge. And you have shown the galaxy what humanity truly is. May your light guide others as it has guided yourselves. The humans smiled. They had listened. They had acted. They had grown. And the galaxy would never be the same again.